Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. How are you folks? How you doing? How you been? You know, the pandemic, it's still happening. You know, the riots, it is what it is. I want to do an upbeat monologue this time. So let's just think about what's positive. Comedy's back. I've already hit one stage already, and there should be more outdoor shows coming soon. By the way, have you seen Chappelle's new special that he did at 8:46, I believe it was, about George Floyd? That was good. Shout out to Chappelle, man. One of the best. You know, he's got his fingers on the pulse always. I got a great show for you guys today. Great show. Ish Gupta on the show. We get into it. We talk about some good stuff. I ran into Ish, as well as some other comedians outside a comedy venue a few weeks back. That online it said it was going. Everyone thought it was going. All these comics showed up, and the place was closed. I'm not even going to mention what place it was, but I ended up hanging out with that group of comics over at their place, and they were doing all the same shit that I'm doing during this pandemic. They were hanging out watching The Sopranos. Surprise, surprise. All us young guys, unemployed, just hanging out watching The Sopranos. You know, then the next day, Ish came over and did the podcast, and I'm glad he did. So, comedy's back. Bowling's back. I went bowling the other day. I bought a new bowling shirt. You know, I think this is going to be good. I think the wheels are finally turning again. I think our nation's gonna be okay. If Matt Heath is at a bowling alley and people are able to do that without the worry of getting sick too much, I think we're good. Before I get started, I just want to say, if you want to buy my comedy album, Class Clown Revisited, or any of my plays, go to Tumbleweeds at Niantic, Connecticut. Record store in Niantic, Tumbleweeds. Check them out. Got all my books and my comedy album there. I think a couple t-shirts as well. I think there's still a couple t-shirts over there. You could also get my books on Amazon.com. Just type my name in the search bar and it should pop right up on that old Amazon.com. Now, without further ado, how about my interview with old Ish Gupta there? I think you're going to like this one. Enjoy. Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. I'm sitting here today with Ish Gupta, man.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Well, hi to you.
Fucking
and everybody
A, man.
At home and everybody at home.
How you been?
I've been as good as one can be during this crazy time. I was really just bored.
You know, we were
all
all
sad, but you know,
a lot of us comics. The reason I found this fellow and was able to have him over as a guest is because the wheels are starting to move in the comedy community in Connecticut. Finally,
we were very close to doing comedy last night.
There wasn't an actual show, but there was a meeting of the minds. I would say
a very upset meeting of the minds.
I mean, not everybody was happy. Clearly, shout out to A+ Hollywood
that poor. Oh,
at least making the attempt to put on a comedy show during all this.
And it really wasn't even her fault. I guess it was the management and stuff.
Yeah, man. So, if they're gonna go and like her post that she's making about putting
acknowledging that it's actually happening.
A comedy show that's going on in their establishment, they like the post about it.
And they didn't even open. It wasn't like, oh, they were just going to open for that. Like, they were just closed the whole day. You know, like, there was just nobody in the restaurant at all. Or
yeah, it was ghost town.
Yeah,
it looked like that. It looked like the whole street. Nothing was happening on it.
Yeah,
which
is
is
weird because there was a protest earlier, I believe. I think there was a protest. Have you been going to any of those protests and shit like that?
I have not been going to the protests because I feel like I can't. Because I don't know. I'm collecting unemployment right now, so I feel like if I were to go to the protest and collect the unemployment, I'd be having my cake and eating it too. Like,
I
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't.
Like, you got the time to do that, but like, yeah, no, I see what you mean.
I mean, if I was one of the people that was like affected by it, financially, or if I was a business owner and lost my business because of it, yeah, I'd probably be out there protesting. But like, I feel like, like the government actually like took care of me on this one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly how I feel because I've been collecting too, and I mean.
But I mean, if you're the type of person that wants to go out there and protest, have you gone out and protested at all?
No. And I have done it in the past. Like I went to we were talking about it last night. I went to the Michael Brown protests like a few years ago. I think I was in New York at the time, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like crowds still aren't a good idea. Like right now,
Yeah.
It's like the pandemic's still going on. I just feel like that's still something to avoid. And I know that we were all going to sit at the bar last night, but that's still different.
It's slightly irresponsible to protest, but at the same time,
I really agree with the people. I don't have any problem with it.
This,
it's just me personally, I'm like a little afraid of it.
Here's my opinion. I mean, this is fucking America. If you want to go out there and protest, that's your fucking given right to go out and do it.
And I'm glad that they're doing it. It's just like from that like health, like I just don't want to like go there like get it and then like because I do still like I'm not hanging out with everybody all the time obviously, but there's some people that like I might see after that and I don't want to potentially.
But I also go and hang out with my family. Like I'm like if I'm gonna go and hang out with like my father who's like a senior citizen, like I wouldn't forgive myself if I went out to a fucking protest
exactly
and then like went and hung out with my dad and he fucking got sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everybody still has like people there like hanging out. Everybody's saying stay home, but everybody has like one or two folks like at the bare minimum that they're still like going out and like singing and stuff like that, so I don't know, just going to a protest and then like just keeping that and like not isolating after that, that's like the irresponsible part.
But here's the other thing though, the fucking the police brutality on the news though is like I completely understand if you want to get out there and go fucking protest like whatever you're feeling angry about, fucking.
Well, and they're making it worse, dude. Like,
go carry a picket sign. It's about fucking time. Like, I feel like people in our age group especially, who, like, feel like they made, like, a Facebook or fucking Twitter post and feel like that is a protest.
Yeah, that's always something I have mixed feelings about
myself,
too, yeah. Because I get, like, showing solidarity and, like, saying that, like, you want to... Like, you want people to know that you agree with, like, this, like, issue and, like, you have this, this is something that you value.
You know what's weird,
But at the same time, you got to draw the line between, like, I just want people to think I'm a good person.
If you think about it, like, the fucking people that are fucking posting and feeling like... It's like we're living in the first time ever where people can stay at home and feel like they're fucking making a stand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like,
and there are like still things you can't like. I've been donating to like bail funds and shit like that, and I feel like I've been doing like my part in that regard. But like, just because I'm doing that, like, why should I need to just like post something else like on top of that? Like,
I hear
everybody knows where I stand. It's not like people are confused like as to like my views on anything. Like if you've heard me talk for like half an hour, you can guess like where I stand on these issues.
Well, we're gonna right now, man. What you want to tell me how you feel about some type of shit right now? What's
conservative?
What's pissing you off right now, Ish?
We should keep America great. What's his new slogan? It's keep America great, right?
Is it?
I think so. I think he changed it. I think instead of make America great, because he has to have like something, that continues.
I try to tune out politics as much as possible until it's like somebody says something so stupid, it's like a punch in the face.
Yeah, no, I've had that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like I'll read about it. I just don't like engaging with people on it. That's really what it boils down to. Like I do consider myself informed, but I don't like actively have political conversations with people because it's just exhausting. Like it's not even like. I don't know. It never goes anywhere. Like people don't change their minds.
Because I don't know whether they be Democrats or Republicans. I think they're all fucking cartoon characters.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Anyways,
no,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just like what cartoon rich people would do.
Yeah.
Like, every single one of them.
They're all whether it be red tie or blue tie. They're all a different version of the Monopoly guy.
Yeah,
fucking
exactly, and they're all like fucking getting like all that money from corporations and shit to like build laws around them. Like it's all none of I don't know. I do stay informed, but like I've been more of a nihilist than ever before when it comes to that kind of stuff in the last like I don't know, maybe year and a half, I would say.
I mean, could you elaborate on that, man? Like nihilism always seemed like this like fucking gnarly kind of concept to me, where it's like there's anarchy and then there's fucking nihilism where you don't give a shit about like anything, man.
So I'll give you an example. I mean, it really is just like in the political realm.
Oh, you're just a political,
just
nihilist.
A political nihilist.
No, not like you're like going out like drowning babies.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm
I would consider myself a pretty happy dude. I mean, I don't know if you picked up on that, or people would consider me
totally.
One, but like, I generally try to stay positive, but like politics is just not something I can stay positive during. But I can give you an example. So like years ago, I wouldn't say regularly, but I got into a few arguments with people who like said that they weren't going to vote after Bernie lost, and then Hillary got the nomination, and like I remember being active and just being like, no, you should vote. Like Trump's going to win. Like if you don't vote, you're basically voting for Trump. And then this year, like there's a part of me that like legitimately just doesn't even like care. Like I am going to vote, like obviously, but like it just doesn't. I'm not at a point where I'm going to go out of my way to, like, convince people to do something that they should do. Maybe they shouldn't, but I don't know.
I don't know. I just, the two-party system, like, I feel like
it's horrible.
Has failed us, like, the last decade or so.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why, I could care less about this coming election, but it's just, like... Yeah.
But it's weird. Like fucking, I feel like with like Trump, like looking at guys like Trump and Biden, it almost makes me yearn for like. It almost seems like George Bush was a simpler time.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
I've heard like that sentiment like pretty widely expressed too. Like things weren't great. Like that was like leading up to the the collapse and everything, but it's people weren't like this vocal. About it, and also people like there wasn't like this identity politics kind of thing. Like you wouldn't. I feel like I knew a lot of conservatives, even just like that I went to high school with, but I never just like was like, oh, they're racist or like they fucking hate gay people or like whatever. They just happen to like have like. And like there was just a little bit more discourse around that time. That was like a little bit more towards the Obama years, but. People just didn't yell.
Just to keep it on politics for a little longer, I just want to like fucking say like that wait, now I'm losing my train of thought. Fucking that I don't know. I think it's just like the age of Twitter and fucking
obviously, yeah.
Like Trump is just basically Archie Bunker to me. Like, I feel like the people that are like so far to the left and like fucking bugging out and like doing crazy shit, like just to like prove their point, are fucking like it's nonsense, man. Like it makes me actually lean more right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because you don't. I mean, being associated with an extreme on like any end is just bad.
Yeah.
And like the actual like I'm so conflicted on like just the riots and stuff like that because like I'm not gonna lie, watching a police station burn like actually kind of felt pretty good. Like I was pretty happy about like I've been arrested before, and like I remember I was telling Cliff the other day like I always didn't like cops, but like when I was watching that video, I was like, oh, I really didn't like cops because this feels I'm enjoying
Dude,
watching.
how about that?
But at the same time, like so I heard like restaurants and like shops were like burned, and they were like owned by like black people in that neighborhood, and like that.
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, a lot of those people that were like destroying shit, they weren't actually the Black Lives Matter protesters. They were people like random fucking dudes who just wanted to come and like riot.
Yeah,
and
well,
shit
people
like
that are looters and like
Exactly,
shit
yeah.
like that, like
and they're
it's
all
like,
getting blended together.
Yeah.
Like in the news is just like, it's just them, and then there's the cops, and then that's just it. But like, it's so just not that simple, you know?
man.
Fucking weird time, dude. It's a crazy time in our history.
But I don't know. I definitely am the type of person that believes in America. Whether that like I feel like we might have to suffer for a few years, but like fucking the American dream is like something that like is not like it's like a fucking tattoo on the psyche of fucking America, man. It's not something that can be washed off easily.
I get that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I'm optimistic. I think it is, things are changing. It's just none of this stuff happens overnight, and you know this isn't going to be the last time a cop kills like an unarmed black person. It wasn't the first time either, and like it's just things do change, but they just happen slower than anybody wants them to. But I'm as optimistic as you are, I would say.
You've hung out in any speakeasies yet?
I have not. I didn't know that they were a thing.
Well, I won't tell you on air which ones are the actual speakeasies.
I did see some folks getting in trouble. Actually, here in Manchester. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say the name.
Don't say. I don't want them to shut down any speakeasies. I love speakeasies.
The reason I even knew about it is because you and I have both done comedy at this place.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
Yeah.
Now you're narrowing it down. Don't reveal the
Right.
speakeasies.
No, I have not. I actually have not been to. Yesterday was the first time I had been to a bar, like just any like just place out.
It's almost like the fucking the 2020s is like repeating the 1920s.
Yeah, man.
People
crazy.
are, dude.
Can't
who knows? Like, what if they start running out of booze and people start bootlegging?
I would be shocked if this country.
I don't think
right
that's
now
gonna
ran out
happen,
of
man.
booze. I think we'd get close to it, but like, there's no way the alcohol industry is like not booming right now with just the amount of like fucking sad people.
Dude, what if the police brutality like gets so bad they like decide to start bringing back like prohibition or some shit like that?
Honestly, I would believe anything at this point. It's
Yeah.
unlikely, but fucking a lot of things I've considered to be unlikely.
You ever do you worry that they'll bring back the draft, anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I think nothing like military. I don't think, because we're not like. I mean, we are close to war with like a few countries, I guess,
But America's like known for just starting wars for fucking like no
That's
good
true.
reason, man. Just
That's
to
true.
fucking stimulate the economy. And
Yeah.
what like
and we actually need a fucking economic stimulus right now. Actually, so the one thing that took, I want to say, and I am not a historian by any means. This is based on my understanding, but the one thing that took the country out of the Great Depression was World War II.
right.
So I mean, I don't know, like, I wouldn't put it past Trump to fucking start a war with some random country. I don't know how that would work, but
I feel like
nothing surprises me anymore, man. Like, it's all just fucking ridiculous.
and certain aspect, it feels like the nation has gone fucking soft.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Where it's like,
so.
I just believe this straight through. Which was like the show that was always my dream to be on, fucking Saturday Night Live.
Mm.
It started out as an underground, like I felt like an underground comedy show that kind of like was going like against the fucking grain.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
They definitely used to be like a little edgier for sure.
Where it's like today, it's like, oh, let's stay at home. And like they're in that. They leaned into that school of thought and fucking like, what did it give them? Fucking a show that's not even a fucking live TV show anymore.
Yeah.
And you're now watching a show that doesn't even have any fucking laughter. That is eerie as fuck, man.
It is very strange. I tried to watch, what was it? It's another one. Oh, The Daily Show.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah, but he's doing it at home too.
Yeah.
It is just, and I didn't really dislike it ever, but like I couldn't. It is just not.
You can't watch it now.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, you can get info from it, I guess, but like it's just not. I don't know what. Maybe the writers just.
But that's not the point
anymore,
of watching The Daily Show. You don't watch The Daily Show for information.
Exactly, yeah,
you watch The Daily Show to laugh.
But that's
you know
like
what I mean?
It is now. It's like he says a news story and then there's like a one-liner and like.
To be
there's no
perfectly
laughter. It's
honest,
weird.
I haven't
Seth
watched.
Meyers is kind of the same way, I think. Like,
I haven't watched
videos.
Comedy Central in years. I haven't watched any of the, like.
Really?
I feel like Tosh.0 kind of like absorbed the fucking network at one point, and like
it was super popular.
All
sure,
it was Tosh.0 for a while, and it's like, you know what? I don't need fucking cable anymore.
Were you so what was that was when you stopped, like when Tosh.0 was big?
Yeah, that's when I fucking got rid of cable because what's the point now? I watch what's on the antenna and fucking what's on streaming services. Especially now, you can't even watch any fucking sports.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, we don't we barely use our cable. We're pretty much all streaming at this point too.
You know, I think it was pretty funny the way I left your place earlier. I fucking threw on an episode of Workaholics.
I was wondering what that show was. Yeah.
You never watched Workaholics? I feel like
it was. I'd seen episodes of it. It was one of those like shows.
Those
like,
three guys are. That is your apartment. You and Alex and fucking whoever else is hanging out is fucking those three guys. Like
Cliff doesn't actually live there, but he basically does. Yeah.
Like. I'm surprised you didn't watch that because that's actually was on Comedy Central, I think, when I was in college. But it was just funny how the garbage truck just pulled up. I was parked on the side of the road. I didn't realize I was blocking your neighbor's cans.
Wait, so were you? Oh, okay.
So I just hear that garbage truck honking, and I'm like, oh, fucking Tony Soprano's out here fucking driving his fucking garbage truck. He's gonna fucking fuck up my fucking new Corolla.
So I heard like honking when I was in the shower.
So I just
and I was like, maybe it's the neighbors.
So I was just a fat guy. As soon as I got in the car, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just drive back now. I was like a fat guy running away. I was like Artie Lang, man. You know? Oh my god, dude, that guy that you introduced me to though, Kyle Kinane.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Fucking funny, man.
He's one of my top 5 favorite comedians of all time, hands down.
Dude,
that's actually, and that special is actually one of my favorite specials.
What was the name of that special?
So the special is called "I Liked His Old Stuff Better." I want to say it came out maybe 2010. I would have to. I can check that later, but great special. His writing is fucking like.
You know, he seems like one of those guys. I feel like people will be like, "Oh, you ever heard of Kyle Kinane?" Or "You should listen to Kyle Kinane." And I'm like, "Yeah." There's so many comedians that are like that, and then like it's not until somebody's like actually like turns it on in front of me and goes, "Watch this."
Well, also being a comic, maybe like I don't know if you kind of feel this too. Like I watch less. I watch less new comedians, and I have been since I started. Doing comedy because I'm pickier now.
Well, all the new comedians.
I only really follow like maybe 8 comedians total. Like,
all the new comedians you watch are the ones that are in real life, so it's it's hard to absorb like the content of like fucking like Netflix because there's so much,
and it's so different live than it is on screen. And then if you do it enough live, like I'm only a few years in at this point, so this could change down the line, but. It doesn't feel the same. Like live comedy is just different, and like I just prefer like being there live more.
I don't know. I think
unless it's writing, unless I'm like looking for
watching stand up, even when it comes to stand up, like watching regular TV or stand up, I feel like I'm the type of guy like I like letting the whole story play out. So I like watching old fucking stand up. There's just so much old stand-up I've never even fucking seen. Like, how many episodes of fucking Evening at the Improv on my fucking Amazon account that I've never fucking watched?
Have you been?
And a lot of them are really good, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. What have you been checking out recently?
Recently, it's like I fucking said, like I've just been rewatching The Simpsons and fucking Sopranos, but like I don't know. I also like watching like the old celebrity roasts, like with fucking Dean Martin.
Yeah. Oh, the old celebrity.
The old celebrity
okay.
roasts.
I thought you were thinking like the Comedy Central ones from like the.
I like those too,
Yeah.
like with Jeff Ross and Lisa Lampanelli, and you know, like I like the Comedy Central roast as well. It's amazing. Like, dude, did you watch? Dude, I knew Trump was gonna end up being president when I saw his fucking roast.
Oh
on
yeah,
Comedy
they
Central.
fucking destroy him. Like, there's no way. Like,
no, I felt like all the comedians were so fucking soft on him. Like,
oh really?
Like, yeah, like they were gonna be like fucking whacked or something if they actually like went hard on him with a fucking joke.
They had some good. I remember. What was it? Snoop Dogg had a good one. Like some of the. It was. Fucking. I'm not gonna do it justice, but he was like, yeah, Trump plans on running for president. After Obama's term is up, it wouldn't be the first time he kicked a black family out of his home or something like that. Like, it was a good fucking joke. Like,
that's actually not bad.
And then like Seth MacFarlane had another good one. He was talking. He was like, "This is a story about like perseverance in the American dream. It's about Donald's father." Like it's
that's not
like
bad.
A man who like started from nothing and became something. Not Donald Trump though, his dad or something like that. It was funny.
Oh man, I don't know the old roasts I like. Fucking A, man. Like, how are you spending your time creatively now that you can't like be on stage?
I've been writing a decent amount. I do articles for this comedy website, the Hard Times. You know them?
No.
So
is it kind of like The Onion?
Yeah, it's like The Onion. It's got like this like punk rock like indie edge to it. Like they do a lot of stuff about music, but they've also they have like culture stuff. It's like satire. It's like The Onion, but like with that twist. So. I mean, I've been doing articles with them, and then
they pay well.
It's decent. It's like $25 per article. So,
all right.
Yeah. It's good exposure too. Like I did one on Scrubs, like the TV show Scrubs, pretty recently, and I got one coming out like pretty soon. But even now, like this is all the news is just like taking over that because like they're really only posting.
I'd like to get into something like that. Is it easy to get into?
So I don't know if the rules have changed. I had to submit like 10 headlines, like potential jokes, and then once they look over that, if they like it, then they add you to like this Facebook group, and that's where you can pitch like ideas and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been cool. I mean, I've been doing that.
Because I feel like that's like a good way to get into the type of mindset, at least.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're still writing
to
jokes,
be like the Daily Show weekend update type guy.
Yeah, and I would like writing is like still like kind of my favorite part of it. So I can still do that, and this is still like something I can put like as a credit. Like I'm a contributing writer for this comedy website. So
I like the type of thing that forces you to write your jokes while looking at the news. Like, sit down, read the newspaper, and fucking start writing jokes.
I used to try to do that. Like, just, I had, like, this note in my phone, like, just daily jokes about the news. And I would try to just come up with, like, little one-liners on it. And, like, even if they weren't good, I wouldn't even show them to other people. But, like, it's just getting that muscle, like, moving. Like, like, create, like, a setup punchline kind of thing. I haven't done that in a while, but I remember it helping when I did.
I try to at least read the Sunday paper, just because I feel like it, like, will, dude, I remember when the coronavirus first was, like starting to be fucking written about, and it's like, sometimes I'd just be reading too fast, and I'd be like, wow, this whole thing's, like, I don't know why it's so carnivorous, but, like... It must be really bad if it's this carnivorous.
This carnivorous virus.
Yeah. And dude, I was subbing at the time when you really started reading about it, and it's like I remember all the kids were like talking about it, and certain teachers would be like,
"No, that's how it was."
Teachers would be like, "Stop talking about it" to the kids. It's like, let them talk about it. Like, it's what's happening. Like, I hate it when like adults try to like cap what like the children are because
Yeah.
they're like, especially the high school kids, they're basically young adults. Like
Mhm.
they should have opinions about what's
Right,
going
and it's
on.
actually, and you want to encourage them to have that discussion. Like this is actually that was a pretty, whatever teacher did that. That's actually relatively irresponsible because
Yeah.
like whenever stuff like that happens, like if it's like a shooting or like like when 9/11 happens, like you do have to address it right away
Hmm.
because then at least like you just don't know what they're going home to, and you have to set like what is it? You gotta like set a standard for how like your classroom is gonna talk about it. So we didn't. I mean, I didn't do too much about it because I was a music teacher. Like, and I only had like one or two classes a day. But like,
you bring up a good point that's irresponsible, but at the same time, like you just made me realize that being an elementary school teacher is the hardest fucking job in the world. Or like it's definitely being an elementary school teacher is definitely harder than being a high school teacher.
Yeah,
because you're responsible for one group of kids, and like and their that entire year, like one group of kids with you that whole year.
Oh, it's exhausting, dude.
And if you're like emotional, like or what if you're having a bad day, you're making the rest of those kids have a fucking bad day. At least in high school,
it happens a lot too.
At least in high school, it's only like an hour and a half at most you got to spend with that one adult.
And
you know what I mean?
Something like most of the time, you get to the older you get, the more into the subject you can get. So like if you're really into like English or social studies, you'll have fun teaching a high school class because you actually get to talk about it. But with elementary school, I mean, and God bless like elementary school teachers. Like this is not a knock on their job at all, but it is less about the academics and more teaching them how to behave and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe not more or less, but there's just a more even split between them. Like. Yeah, I'm going to teach you math, but I'm also going to teach you how to like not be a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, it's like the way that your day goes is like, well, it's like get the kids in order, get the kids to behave, get English out, get the kids in order, get the kids to behave, do math.
Yeah,
get the kids in order, get to the kids to behave, go to lunch. You know what I mean? Where it's like you're constantly like reeling them in. Where it's like a high school teachers they eat like a piece of cake compared to fucking being an elementary school teacher because the kids show up, they're either paying attention or they're not,
and you're just a scorekeeper at that
and
point,
it's like, and if they're not paying attention, it's on them at that point.
I mean, and I generally think that like you can have that like mentality with young because I teach middle school, but I have like private lessons students.
God bless you, man. Fucking
I teach at an I can't say the name, but I teach at an all-girls middle school.
Okay.
They are the fucking angriest people in the world.
All-girls school. I can imagine.
All-girls middle school, 5th through.
They're all like learning about their bodies and shit. I only subbed in a middle school one day, and I just like I couldn't deal with like kids crying and.
It takes a lot of patience.
I knew I could never have that type of patience because I already subbed in a high school a few times before that, and my one day in a middle school, I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It doesn't fit my personality to handle that type of behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, it really ends up being like the music and the theater side of it that like drives me to do it because like one it is a lower stress class when they're with me. Like they're not learning math, it's not reading. We're having important conversations for sure, but like we're not like they generally.
There's something about a music room in school where it's like it's like you go in there, it's like it's probably like 10 degrees cooler than like their home classroom.
Yeah, we don't have a specific music room. I actually share a room with we're a little bit underfunded, but I share a room with like a few other teachers. But it is generally that more kind of like chill vibe. Like, it is really it's a class for a lot of them to kind of like unwind, and if they don't end up doing their I still have to discipline them. If they don't end up doing their work, I obviously can't give them a good grade, but if they have other shit that they have to do. Like,
now, what type of music do you actually teach? Band, orchestra, like
it's so I do a general music class for everybody. That's all 4 grades, 5th through 8th. I do a choir, which is just like the kids who elect to do that. And then that's like a choice they have between like band and like strings and stuff like that.
Right.
And then I do a general like theater studies class, and that's like they act a little bit, but it's more like watching plays and reading them. It's very tied into like
that's cool.
Yeah. It's a lot. I mean, also take this with a because I'm not doing any of this right now. Like with the pandemic going on, this is what I was doing. 2
Yeah,
months ago.
I completely understand.
Yeah, I had that, and then I had a drama club. So yeah, and then I had that's one of my jobs, and then I have this other job teaching like private lessons and stuff, and that's just piano and voice.
Dude, you were like the whole music and theater department, basically.
At that school, actually, yeah, no, I wear many hats there. They entrusted me with quite a lot, and it's a lot of work, but
now let me ask you,
it's a small school, so it's not like
because my favorite part of being an English teacher was reading plays with the kids. What was your go-to on teaching plays?
Oh, so we that's a tough one. This year we did A Raisin in the Sun and West Side Story, which we read excerpts from it. We didn't read the whole thing as a class, but I told them about those two shows, and then we watched the two movies. Actually, their final projects before the semester changed over was like a paper on one of those two they could pick.
Really?
So yeah.
Now, here's what I want to say about that. I also taught Raisin in the Sun in my English class.
Yeah,
awesome. 2
I
years.
mean, it's a staple. Yeah.
I mean, I love that book for many reasons because it's like what we were talking about earlier. Like the fucking I like plays that are really about the struggle for the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like Raisin in the Sun is like the perfect snapshot of that. Like fucking. Like this whole family just arguing over this check coming in.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And it is
and what to do with it, you know?
Yeah. And it has like all these like broader implications on like just being like a middle class black family in that neighborhood around that time period as well.
What if somebody writes a like groundbreaking play just about a fucking stimulus check?
I mean, I could see it happening. I've been thinking about that a lot.
That'd be cool, right?
Like art is just gonna movies and TV are gonna look different. Like we're gonna start seeing movies where like characters are like wearing face masks and shit like that because it's just gonna be like and they're gonna start like referring to like this period of time like before Corona or like once Rona hit that's gonna be like the vibe in a lot of like movies and TV shows coming up, and like it kind of I'm not really happy about it. Like,
well, the weird thing is I feel like we're so divided right now with fucking Corona that it's like I am kind of my mind's kind of boggled on what like the entertainment's gonna look like, man.
Yeah, I can't predict it. I don't know. I've never seen this happen before. I think everything's gonna come back at some point, but I don't know when,
So the other thing about West Side Story is I've had that movie in my fucking Amazon queue the longer than any other movie.
Have you seen it before?
Fucking, it's one of my favorite movies, man. Yeah. And I would always play it whenever I would teach the kids Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, actually, and it's interesting you bring that up because that's actually how we approached it in the class because it was a whole adaptation activity. So it was a cool assignment. They got to. They basically got to pick like anything that they like a book, a TV show, or a movie, and they got to adapt it into another medium. So we were talking about like how they took Romeo and Juliet, they moved it to New York in the '60s.
This may sound politically incorrect, but I feel like I am kind of like an Archie Bunker like type guy. When it's just
how so?
And but just hear me out. Where it's like I feel like that's like how. This may sound politically incorrect. I feel like playing West Side Story, I finally had the gay kids that I've ever taught finally had a good time in my class.
I don't think that's politically incorrect. Well, no, because that's actually there's a side to that is actually really like good because you were what's the word I'm looking for? It is like you reaching out to them, for people who might generally not feel like they have anybody in a classroom like that. So like, you know, play that stuff and just to have like that kind of representation. Not that West Side Story has anything to do with gay people, but like, you know, it's to have that kind of thing.
But on the other hand, I remember I told a friend of mine, he's a comic, Hennessy Williams. He's Haitian, and here's what the reason I bring up his background is because he said to me, like, you're going to play, because I was teaching in Florida at the time. He goes, you're going to play a movie about like Puerto Rican and white people for like Puerto Rican and Haitian kids, like, and pretend it's relatable. But really it's written by Jews, so it's really not fucking relatable
that is an
at
interesting
all.
point to bring up, yeah. I always forget that it was written by like two Jewish guys from New York, yeah.
And you know, I don't know, that like there's definitely all sorts of different ways to fucking look at teaching. Like it's a tougher job than people think.
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't think that's really this. It's not like I'm demanding recognition for it, because I get that, you know, a good amount of what I do is like silly at times, but I don't think, like, unless you teach or like you know a teacher and you talk to them regularly, like the majority of people like just think that it's like, you know, babysitting, and it's really not. There's so much just more to it. There's so much like responsibility, and you just take it home with you, you know. Like if a kid tells you something during the day and then they just like, it's like heartbreaking, and then they go home and you go home, like you don't just stop thinking about it once you know, leave work. So that's the sad part. And that's like what a lot of people don't realize. That was a downer. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to.
No. You're actually just making me think. Like, I didn't realize what white guilt was until I fucking started teaching, and I'm looking at in the book.
So did you teach in a hood school? Is that
yeah? But it really had nothing to do with like the kids like position in life or anything like that. Like, it was just like you walk into like a book room and it's like. Every book pretty much is written by like a fucking white male, that died fucking nearly 100 years ago. You know what I mean?
There's a pretty solid movement to kind of combat that in schools right now. We generally, I don't, you know, bring any books in, but I know the English teachers in my school, like we have a pretty predominantly Black and Latino population, like I'm in Hartford, and the teachers do a pretty good job at like trying to find representation. And actually, even when I teach like music history and stuff like that, like. I make it a point to be like, yo, Elvis didn't invent rock and roll. He basically stole it from Black people.
Yeah, isn't that like the first lesson as like a music teacher, like that the white man stole?
It should be. A lot of music teachers don't take that seriously. It honestly makes me really like angry at times. Like, especially if they're in like a school with that, you know, Black and Latino student population. Like, how can you not bring that up? You know?
Well, I don't understand like how you could like teach jazz and not like
jazz,
let
blues,
people
rock
know
and roll,
that like
all of
this is like I don't know. It's Americans definitely have like our native, when it comes to our native art forms, like music is like definitely more pure than our literature, I would say. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but fucking, I don't know. Do you think it would be like, because you could easily lean into the teaching English thing, and now that you've taught like theater and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a good amount of crossover for sure, and it's a lot of history crossover too. Like I said, when I do the music history stuff, we talk about like, you know, like race, and then how like different historical events created music. Like we talked about protest songs.
Right.
We talked about like the Harlem Renaissance, like the Great Migration, like when Black people started moving more towards cities. That's when a lot of that.
And that's probably how "Raisin in the Sun" fit right in there.
Oh
with the
Harlem it was perfect.
Renaissance.
Oh yeah. That was basically exactly what I did actually. Tied all that together.
Sounds like you're a good teacher, man. Sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders.
I definitely try. It's not like you said, it's not an easy job, but I I do like it. That's the important part.
I imagine you when like the kids walk into your room and you're just like sitting on the keyboard and like you just start like fucking playing and that's how you fucking reel them in. Like I think
not well for choir, yeah, like I just kind of like get into it, but with the more academic classes, it is really just like I'm just like any other thing that they go to.
What's like your favorite thing to teach in those like general music classes?
It depends. The kids were working on their own songs for a little bit. Like they were writing their own. They were making beats and shit like that. That was really cool. Yeah. We got like this website that they can like. It's like an online studio. It's really kid friendly. So they were doing that, and it was cool to see like everybody kind of be creative and unique. They what else did they do that I really liked? We did this. It was like this music history thing, and I broke it up into 3 genres, like rap, rock, and R&B. And they just looked at the origin of each of those and like how they evolved. So like for rap, like phase 1, quote unquote, was like Grandmaster Flash and like Run DMC and like that group of people. So I was like, all right, listen to these rap groups. You can pick whatever song you want. Like just listen to that, talk about it, just write something on it. Really loose. And then the next day we did like the 90s, like so Pac, Biggie, like Nas, Jay-Z, like all them, write about that. And then the early 2000s, Eminem, 50 Cent.
Dude, you're like a millennial Richard Dreyfuss in that movie.
Is that what was that?
Mr. Holland's Opus?
I actually, I saw. I've never seen that movie. But...
Dude, you've never seen Mr. Holland's Opus? So,
fun fact, I haven't seen it. Because a ex-girlfriend of mine once, as we were breaking up, she was like very vicious to me, and she said that I was basically gonna be like that guy, but a failure. Like it was the most, and I didn't know the movie. Like she was like texting me that, and like I was like, "This is why would you?"
You know what? She said that because she really knew in the back of her mind that you're gonna be like that guy.
So what is he a good like teacher? In that
Dude,
what's the premise?
He's like the best like music. He kind of reminded me of my music teacher in high school, Mr. Brush, who like fucking he was.
Whoa, wait, where did you go again?
Niantic.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
But he went to Ledyard to teach after a while. But he was like the fucking like most charismatic guy. Like fucking loved teaching band. Like loved teaching like fucking history of rock and roll. Like I learned so much from this fucking guy.
That's awesome.
And he would have like, dude, he was might be one of the reasons like I was so into The Simpsons because every day at lunch. Because the whole school would have lunch at the same time. The cafeteria was so fucking full that you like would have to kids would have to find certain spots to just hang out. Dude, his band room would just be full at lunch. Fucking he would play The Simpsons on fucking
that was a projector screen. Good teacher. If people wanted to have lunch in your room, that's how it was with my high school too.
Yeah,
it was interesting. I do have to check out that movie. I gotta at some point because it's so. So does he like?
Now I don't want to give anything away about the movie, but he does have one little hiccup where this senior starts falling in love with him. And,
God!
Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
That's good. That's that's an unfortunate.
I don't know. It's
when it happens.
It's kind of weird watching the movie post Me Too. You definitely can't I feel like can't play that movie in a classroom.
Well, and also there's this.
But at the same time, I guess you could as long as you fucking comment on it.
You can
and just pause it at that part and be like, yeah, teachers should never do that.
Well, and it's so interesting that he's a music teacher in that because that's one of the worst regular things that happens in teaching is the music theater teacher that ends up having a thing with a student. I've seen 5 stories. It happened to one of my friends in our high school, with our teacher, and
I heard a story.
It happens so often, and it's fucking sickening. It's all just.
I heard a story.
Always the music and theater people, and that's why I hate telling people this is what I do because they're like, "Whoa, shit!"
I feel like I could tell this story because I really don't have any association with the person because I was hired at the school after she was fired and I don't really know who she is. But I would hear this story about the theater teacher in the school I was teaching at down in Florida that she would have like this like after school thing like hanging out with the kids.
Yeah,
and,
like that's so.
And
that's
she
so weird.
She ended up playing like the movie Aladdin and like fucking like there was only one kid like hanging out with her. They ended up fucking making out or some shit.
My God.
And it's like, how does that fucking happen, man?
Like those people literally like I don't know how like I don't know, man. Like it happens so often and it's just like, how do you not realize?
It's interesting how it happens. I feel like it happens more with female teachers, and it's kind of fucked up because I feel like none of these like teacher. It's like it's the school's so bureaucratic. The female teachers don't want to date any of the male teachers, but they'll end up like fucking one of the kids on the football team. You know? It's really disgusting when you think about it.
Oh, dude, it's horrible. Yeah, well, I mean, these people, like, these kids are at, like, in their formative years. Like, they can't actually make, like, decisions. Like, they're not, they're being, like, told, like, their brains just aren't all the way there yet. And, like, you do that to them at that age, like, it's not really them like agreeing to it. It's just pressure. Like they can't.
Where I was teaching in Florida,
it's a horrible thing to do to like a child at that point.
I found myself getting really depressed at times because it was just hard to keep in that socio-economic status. Mm-hmm. Just keeping kids' asses in seats and like them not fucking dropping out of school. Like,
yeah.
You know, like. Passing them for a class is one thing, but just like keeping them from dropping out
them around,
was fucking hard enough. Where it's like I can't imagine like these people that are just going around fucking kids. Like it really disgusts me to be honest.
And it's irresponsible because like it's such an important job, and to like just abuse it like that, like you're really doing a disservice to not only those kids but like just society in general. You know?
Did you ever see the movie with fucking Samuel L. Jackson and the dad from Home Alone's in it? They both play teachers.
I didn't even. This sounds hilarious,
dude. They're like teaching in like I think the worst part of L.A. or whatever. And
is it it's one of those like go into the hood and save these kids kind of movie?
It's more like fucking like you learn the fucking like chaos of like the kids that are like in gangs, like how they could relentlessly like try to break teachers down. Like it was kind of
there before.
It was kind of like interesting to watch that because you really learn like how thick-skinned you actually have to be a teacher. Man.
Oh hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, you could say the same thing about just like teaching at like Weaver or Buckley and Hartford.
Yeah.
Here. What movie is that called?
Fuck. What's the like it's like the police code for murder is the name of the movie, like 147 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh,
you should check that one out.
That sounds like straight out of the 90s.
Yeah,
that's
that one
90s movie if I've ever heard one.
You're gonna watch it and be like, oh man, this movie's like a time capsule of the 90s, especially since the dad from Home Alone plays one of the fucking
and
teachers.
Samuel Jackson, like not looking old probably.
I just like how it's basically you're just watching him in a classroom, like trying not to say motherfucker because he's in front of a group of kids.
There's a video like I want to say. Sorry. It's Samuel Jackson reading like a kid's book. It's like Go the Fuck to Sleep. Have you heard that before?
Oh yeah, like Goodnight Moon, but it's
like that. Yeah,
it's like a parody of Goodnight Moon. I've seen that. Yeah.
The stars are asleep. Go the fuck to sleep. Something like that. I don't know. You fucking dumb kid. Go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, we got, I don't know, like 10 more minutes. I usually wrap up at about an hour. Like, I feel like we covered some good ground, but like
had
I
a
feel
lot
like,
of
but at the same
conversations.
time, I feel like we barely scratched the surface, man. Like,
Well, there's always next time. There's always so with 1,000 comics. Are you having
I
like,
don't,
people back at all?
I don't have people back, but I am planning on trying to do like something else, like
You
a
should,
different podcast, maybe. You
I was
know,
gonna
like-
say you should come do the one with me. And
Yeah,
Heath.
that's
So we
what I
do,
wanted
like,
to ask
old
you about.
albums.
Tell
It's
me about
actually-
your podcast.
All right, so it's called the first episode is actually going to be dropping this Friday. I don't know when this is going to be out, but could do a little. I'll plug that.
Yeah, what's the name
it's
of the
called,
podcast?
It's called Did I Like This? So it's me with another comedian. His name is Pete Angelo, very funny guy, and we talk about old albums from our youth. And,
Oh, I love it.
You know, kind of how they hold up, like why we liked it back then, if we still like it now, how the music scene around it has changed. It's a decent amount of like punk and metal and stuff like that. We are doing an episode about a few rap albums coming up soon. The first episode, like for example, like Pete picked I think a Papa Roach album, and Pete picked a Three Doors Down album, and I did a Bullet for My Valentine one. Two bands that neither of us really listen to that much anymore.
Yeah.
But they played a big role in kind of influencing our taste.
Dude,
So-
I would love to either
Yeah,
come
man, come
on
on
your
for
show
sure.
and
Oh,
either
hell yeah,
do like a music album or fucking. Have you thought about doing any comedy albums on that?
Maybe that could be interesting. That could, because I don't. Yeah, no, that'd be a cool idea for like down the line, because eventually we're gonna run out of music to talk about. So
You can never run out of music. That's the beautiful thing about
that's
music.
true. Yeah. But yeah, so that's gonna be out soon. But yeah, definitely come by. We've had a lot of fun recording it. We had like Sam Hunter come through.
Oh, so you got a few episodes in the can for this?
Oh yeah, we got 5 down right now, and like we heard actually, Colin Cook.
yeah.
He was on it the other day, and he was like working at Gas Digital or something like that. He was like, you should just drop all 5 at once so people have like a lot to listen to.
Yeah.
And then they're more excited when the new ones come out. So that might be the plan. I'm not really sure yet, but yeah, we've had like comedians. We're getting some folks in bands and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a good time.
So,
Good time.
so you have been spending your time creatively and everything.
Yeah,
With
as
that.
much as I can.
Oh, fucking A. When do you think, because obviously this show fell through that we were going to do yesterday. When do you think we're going to actually be able to get on stage again, man?
If outdoor comedy, keeps being a thing for a little bit, then maybe the earliest by, July or August, but my outlook is pretty bleak on that.
Yo, it's the summertime. We could totally do what
I think that's going to be the vehicle for it.
Yeah,
outdoor shows.
a
At least
comedy
the
show at the
first thing.
park. Even we can go to the
I've
fucking
been thinking
park.
about
People
that.
can social distance, and
I've seen. I want to say it was the Comedy Craft Beer folks. I think they did something like that recently, or they started. They just booked it. They were advertising it. As far as indoor comedy the way it regularly was, I don't know, man. Winter probably, because people don't want to be in enclosed spaces right now. But
Yeah.
You can't have a comedy show with only 10 people. I mean, you can. I've done it. I've performed for 2 people before.
Yeah.
But it's not a good show,
I think me and you should put together one of these park shows.
I'd be super down, dude. I miss comedy, so I fucking threw out all social distancing guidelines.
I mean, there's a big
when I went to
park
that,
behind the Hungry Tiger where we normally do comedy. Why
That's
not?
true, yeah.
Why not do just a comedy show out in the fucking in
It's
the
definitely
in the
doable,
park
yeah.
behind it, man?
Mhm.
Fucking all we need is a mic, an amp, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
People
could be a
can
good time.
BYOP. I don't know if you can drink at the park, really.
I think as long as it's concealed, maybe. I don't know the rules behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen people do that before.
Yeah.
That is what I'm hoping for, at least. But yeah, man, I don't know.
Is there anything else you want to plug, Instagram or fucking anything like that? You got anything else out there? You
just my Instagram, Doofy Ish, DOOFYISH. When comedy is going on, that's usually where I post dates and upcoming shows. But right now, it's just pictures of parks that I'm going to, because that is the only thing anybody does anymore.
Sorry.
Very good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I write for the Hard Times, so if you want to check out some of my articles for them, you can do that. But no, nothing else to plug.
All right, man. Well,
Thanks for having me, dude.
I guess we're wrapping up now. But dude, I want to thank you so much for being on the
of
fucking
course.
podcast,
Yeah,
man.
thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure,
This
and
was a good time.
I hope we get back to fucking doing stand up soon, man.
Me too.